It is 2026. Launching a venture requires little more than an hour and a highly optimized AI prompt. You can deploy a fully functional web infrastructure, an investor-ready pitch deck, and a data-driven go-to-market strategy, all before your morning coffee. The traditional barriers to market entry have been completely eradicated. So here is the critical question that paralyzes most prospective founders. If the technological infrastructure has never been more accessible, why do 90% of startups still fail to reach viability within their first 36 months? Listen to me closely. It is not algorithmic shifts. It is not macroeconomic headwinds. It is not market saturation. It is you. Welcome to Phase 1 of your entrepreneurial lifecycle. This is the internal audit. Let me be perfectly clear right up front. This is not a motivational seminar. I am not here to offer platitudes or encourage you to blindly follow a passion. This is a rigorous, objective diagnostic engineered to determine your actual baseline survivability in the marketplace. The startup ecosystem is obsessed with product market fit, but product market fit, devoid of founder market fit, is simply a viable concept that a better resourced competitor will inevitably commoditize and execute far better than you. Launching on pure enthusiasm without fundamental alignment is a catastrophic misallocation of capital. Founder market fit comprises three critical vectors. Let's deconstruct them. The first vector is your core operational competencies. We must abandon the illusion that being a visionary holds intrinsic value. Ideation is effectively worthless in today's economy. Execution is the sole currency of business. What is your distinct comparative advantage? I am not asking about your theoretical knowledge or future aspirations. What can you execute optimally right now? Can you architect robust code architectures that do not break under scale? Can you navigate face-to-face enterprise sales and absorb constant friction? Can you design scalable operational frameworks that function autonomously? If you cannot identify a quantifiable skill where you perform in the top decile of the market, you are entering the arena operating at a severe deficit. The second vector is your asymmetrical advantage. These are your structural moats. You did not necessarily earn them through merit. You simply possess them, and you must leverage them. Do you have an established network of industry stakeholders who will actually take your call? Do you possess proprietary, lived experience in a highly specialized market sector that external disruptors fail to comprehend? Perhaps you have frictionless access to capital, supply chains, or raw materials that competitors must acquire at a premium. This is not about ego. It is a strategic audit of your leverage. If you enter a sector where competitors are bleeding capital for customer acquisition or access, and you already hold the keys, that is your competitive moat. That is your strategic leverage. The third vector is the most volatile. I call this the decade-long imperative. Let me pose a hypothetical. If I guaranteed that your enterprise would remain pre-revenue, operating at negative cash flow for the next 36 months, would you remain obsessively committed to solving this specific pain point? If your primary catalyst is a rapid liquidity event, lifestyle inflation, or sheer aesthetic, you will pivot or fold the moment market dynamics become hostile, and I assure you, they will become. You require a profound intrinsic imperative to execute when your liquidity is depleted, stakeholder skepticism is high, and your current iteration is failing. Next, we conduct the capacity audit, because you cannot scale an enterprise if you are fundamentally gasping for air. Let's evaluate your financial runway. This is an objective, mathematical reality. After this session, open a spreadsheet and calculate your absolute baseline survival metrics. I am referring to housing, sustenance, insurance, and debt obligations. Calculate the minimum capital required to remain solvent. Multiply that exact sum by 12. Is that capital fully liquid and deployed in a savings account right now, or do you have a strategic partner willing to subsidize your overhead during the build phase? If the answer is no, you are inadvertently structuring a hunger-driven enterprise. Hunger-driven founders make suboptimal, reactive decisions. They onboard toxic, high-friction clients to mitigate short-term cash flow crises. They compromise product integrity. They dilute their equity. They bankrupt their organizations not due to a flawed thesis, but because the founder was personally insolvent. You cannot engineer a market-defining product while panicking over your basic physiological needs. Then we must audit your emotional bandwidth. Entrepreneurship is a compounding stressor. If your interpersonal dynamics with your partner, your family, or your core network are already strained, introducing a high-velocity startup into that ecosystem acts as an accelerant. Initiate those difficult, transparent dialogues today. Verify that your primary support structures are fully aligned with this risk profile. A venture will never resolve your personal deficits. It will exponentially amplify the underlying fractures. Furthermore, you must audit your physiological output. Novice founders frequently misdiagnose their bottlenecks as time management inefficiencies. In reality, they suffer from energy management deficits. Track your cognitive output for 7 consecutive days. Identify your peak of flow and your inevitable biological troughs. Founders who continuously override their natural circadian rhythms experience total burnout within 18 months. Founders who optimize their operational cadence around those cycles build decacorns. Finally, we must dismantle the solo founder fallacy. You cannot simultaneously serve as the chief visionary, lead engineer, growth marketer, operations director, and financial controller. It is statistically unsustainable. You must conduct a rigorous skills gap analysis across your core business functions. If you identify critical operational deficits, you have 3 strategic pathways. Option 1, commit the next 2 quarters to upskilling until you achieve baseline proficiency. Option 2, aggressively automate the function utilizing the current generation of AI infrastructure. Option 3, recruit a high-caliber co-founder whose competencies perfectly hedge your liabilities. You must suppress your ego. Hubris bankrupts significantly more startups than competitive displacement ever will. So, here is your inflection point. If you have validated all of these parameters, if your competencies, moats, runway, and resilience are fully aligned, then you are cleared to proceed. Your subsequent phase is step 2, problem discovery. But if you failed any of these diagnostic checks, listen to me carefully. Halt your deployment. Execute a strategic pause. A no-go decision today is not a failure. It is intelligent risk mitigation. Allocate the next 6 months to capitalizing your financial runway. Dedicate the next 2 quarters to acquiring that critical missing competency. Launching prematurely doesn't just burn initial capital, it inflicts severe long-term damage to your psychological resilience. Build your infrastructure on solid bedrock, never on sand. Here is your mandatory deliverable. Open a fresh document right now and title it My Founder Profile. Document your core competencies, map your asymmetrical advantages, and calculate your 12-month solvency metric. That document is your foundational blueprint. Once your profile is bulletproof and you are prepared to execute, go to the comments below, type the word GO, and make a public commitment to your trajectory. But if you recognize a need for further optimization, type the word pause in the comments and articulate exactly which operational deficit you are addressing first. Execute the mandate. I will see you in step 2.